Barry Allen, the first Flash, if you don't count Jay Garrick, who was the Flash on an alternate reality Earth, gained his power of super speed just as you would expect. One day at a police laboratory, Barry Allen reads a Flash comic book about Jay Garrick as he drinks from his little milk tin. Then he puts it down and starts looking at every chemical known to science, when a rogue lightning bolt shoots through the window and explodes into the chemicals and Barry. And that is how the Flash is born. Released in 1967, written by Gardner Fox, with art by Carmine Infantino, this is the real origin of the Flash. The story opens at the waterfront of Central City? Let's see. Central City, DC. Central City, Wikipedia. Central City's location has been vaguely defined over the years. Blah, blah, blah. Central City has been stated as being located in Ohio. Blah, blah, blah. Central City, blah, 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 blah. More recently, Central City has most often been located in the state of Missouri. Huh. What do you know? Anyway, Flash is hiding in some shadows as he's watching these jewel smugglers get off a boat or something, and he sprints onto the scene, and the smugglers panic because the Flash is fast, but apparently not that fast, and they begin to flee. So Flash spins one around like a top and runs so fast that he can throw one man into the air and then punch another one into him. The guy in the air is then caught by the Flash, who then for some reason immediately just starts spinning him, which would probably really mess up his organs. And as Flash is torturing the smuggler, his uniform catches fire. This never happens because he has this, like, protective body aura, which counteracts the effects of friction that would happen to him if he did run at super speed, and is why his skin does not rip off when he runs. So Flash panics because he's on fire, and runs to the end of the dock and dives into the river. Later, Flash climbs out to find a little balding man in a green robe wearing sandals. The impish being tells Flash that he's sorry about the whole fire thing, but that was the first step of taking away his super speed. Then the little man is like, "The name's Mopey, initiate 10th class of the Heavenly Helpmates," and hands Flash his business card. Flash asks why Mopey is taking away his powers, and Mopey tells him that he has every right to do so, especially since Mopey is the one who gave him the power in the first place. "You're out of your alien mind, Mopey. By chance, a lightning bolt blasted into some chemicals that then spilled over me and gave me my super speed. It was totally coincidental." "Oh, come on. The odds against that happening are 10 quadrillion billion to 1. I deliberately brought down that lightning bolt." Then Mopey gives Flash his backstory. He appeared before his superiors for the initiate 10th class, and they gave him his first assignment, to find a man of Earth who is worthy to receive the gift of super speed. So Mopey did some searching until he came across a lonely police scientist inside his lab. I assume that he used some sort of, like, extra-dimensional power to find out if Barry was the right one or not, or maybe he just wanted to get it over with because he was getting bored. Oh, and Mopey also has this thing where he says the wrong words because he just doesn't understand English, which is fun if you assume that he's some sort of horrific extra-dimensional creature that the human mind cannot comprehend. And the Flash's brain just made him see a weird little elf imp wizard so he wouldn't go insane. Mopey then guided the lightning bolt into the lab and gave Barry Allen the power of super speed. And then he left the dimension to go and file his report. "That's right, everything you know is a lie. That wasn't some rogue lightning bolt that struck on complete accident. It was purposely sent into that lab, and it carried with it magical powers from a higher dimension." Unfortunately, Mopey screwed up his cross-dimensional travel and wound up in front of his superiors some years later. When he finally showed up, they told him that he made a serious error. You see, their rules state that any object used by an initiate must be owned by the giftee, and Barry Allen did not own every chemical known to science. The police station did. Now the building gets the power of super speed. The superiors order Mopey to go back to Earth and undo what he's done, and that's where we are now, and Barry's like, "What? You mean I won't be the Flash anymore? That might not be a bad idea. I could go back to living a normal life." Then he thinks about all the people the Flash has saved by stopping his rogues like Mirror Master and Captain Cold, and that giant gorilla with a fat ray. Flash says, "No, I can't give it up. Let's make a deal." Flash tells Mopey to look at his rules and regulations, and Mopey's like, "Fine, since it's more or less my fault." Mopey summons a little handbook and finds something under subsection 2Y54BLKM884, which says, if the giftee purchases the object used by the initiate, they are then entitled to their gift. But they have 24 hours to do so. Then Flash does some quick maths.
2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.
And comes up to needing $94.36. But Flash doesn't have that kind of money. Are you crazy? So he writes down a little note that he'll insert as an ad in the newspaper, and Mopey agrees to give him back his aura. The note reads, "For hire, one superhero, services available day or night, must begin work immediately." And Mopey's like, "Whoa, that's really lackluster. I'll touch it up later." The next morning, the Picture News paper headline reads, "Position wanted, male, for hire. One unemployed superhero, available night and day, must begin immediately, have wife to support." And the telegrams pour in, baby. Like, I assume that they must have had trucks to unload them because there's just a massive pile sitting out in a back lot for some reason. Barry wonders how they'll find a worthy cause, and Mopey says that he'll decide. Mopey then chooses a manufacturer who has hundreds of deliveries across the country, but his deadline is tomorrow. So Flash heads down to the warehouse, asks for $94.36, and zooms across the country. With only one package left, it was addressed to a suburban home in Central City, so Barry just saved it for last. Barry's aura starts slipping, and the package lights on fire, and then he spots something inside. Flashback time. The day prior, after those jewel smugglers ran away after the Flash lit on fire and jumped into the river, they broke into a warehouse, where they placed their stolen heart diamonds and then placed it in a box addressed for their boss. And back in the now, Flash figures out what happened and shows up at the house and destroys everyone inside. But one of them is able to fire his handgun, so the Sultan of Super Speed vibrates so fast that the bullet goes right through him. Mopey tells Flash not to worry about anyone who got away, and says that he'll take care of them, whatever that means. And later, after Flash buys some chemicals, Mopey regifts him his powers. Then Mopey takes off into the sky and travels into a higher dimension where we'll never see him again except for one ambush bug comic book from the late 80s. And Barry yells after him, "Mopey, wait! I wanted to tell you about Wally West. He got his super speed the same way I did. Did you do that too?" But Mopey doesn't respond and disappears. And then Flash makes note that this is only the second time Mopey has apparently visited Earth because he was lost in time or something, and wonders if Wally's accident was really an accident. The end. What if that's the reason that Wally West is able to connect with the Speed Force? Maybe it's because Barry's super speed was from some weird extra-dimensional creature that masquerades around as a cartoonish wizard, and Wally's came from a normal lightning bolt that just happened to strike some chemicals and imbued him with some sort of power that granted him super speed and opened his mind into the Speed Force. But don't worry, because this retcon was retconned to have taken place on a different Earth. Or did it? Dun dun dun. I hope you enjoyed this episode of What Is. Make sure to like the video if you haven't already, and to let me know what you thought of this comic, or if you have any recommendations, or if you just want to talk about comics in the comments below. I'll see you next time. Bye!